Today I'm going to be talking about the Great Flood of 1913 and how it affected Dayton, Ohio. On March 21st, 1913, which just so happened to be Easter Sunday, the Miami Valley watershed area received record rainfall during a time when the ground was already saturated. This resulted in over 90% runoff, which caused the Great Miami River and its tributaries to flood. Nearly 11 inches of rain had fallen and the levees failed. Downtown Dayton began to flood. Eventually, water levels reached as high as 20 feet. Just in 5 days' time, the amount of water that flowed through the river channel equaled the same amount of water that flows over Niagara Falls in 4 days. The river rose nearly 2 feet an hour, making it impossible for the levees to do their jobs. This flood affected other cities in Ohio and also affected other states. When the city of Dayton was mapped out in 1795, the local indigenous people told the surveyor Israel Ludlow that the area was prone to flooding. The majority of the downtown area was built right in the Miami River's floodplain, but at the time, the location seemed ideal for transportation needs along the river. Because the rain started on Easter Sunday, there were many people visiting their families in the city at that time. The total population for Dayton was 117,000 residents. On Tuesday, March 25th, the police received a warning that the Herman Street levee was becoming weak. At 6 a.m., water starts to stream over the levees and starts pouring into the streets. 2 hours later, levees on the south side fail and water pours into the downtown district. On Wednesday at 1:30 a.m., water in the downtown area reaches 20 feet. Later, a gas explosion occurs downtown at the intersection of 5th Street and Wilkinson. It nearly takes out a city block. Several more fires break out, but firefighters are unable to reach them due to the flooding. Many properties were lost in the fires. The governor called in the National Guard for help. However, it would be several days for them to reach downtown because of the flooding. The American Red Cross came and focused their efforts on the cities and towns that were located along Ohio's major rivers. A local business called National Cash Register Company assisted flood victims by building 300 boats. They organized rescue teams, provided food and shelter, and the president organized medical personnel in order to treat the wounded and sick. NCR also housed the media and their equipment. When the media didn't have access to printers, the president allowed them to use the printing press at the NCR company. When the flood was over, NCR put a big cash register in front of their building to keep a record of the $2 million that was donated to help alleviate financial burden for the community and to prevent future flooding disasters. Due to the flood, 65,000 people were displaced from their homes and 360 people in total had died. Property damage was estimated to be more than $100 million, which is over $2 billion in today's money. The Dayton Public Library lost over 46,000 volumes. Many stores lost their entire stock. Around 3,400 horses and domestic animals died, which needed cleared from the downtown area when the water receded. It took a year to do proper cleanup. Over 133,000 wagonfuls of debris was removed. The flood is considered Ohio's biggest natural disaster. In order to prevent future disaster, 5 dams were built along with modifications to the river channel. There are many pictures and personal stories online about the flood, but one story I've always found interesting is that of Dr. Reeve. Dr. Reeve and his wife lived in a 2-story home on the corner of 3rd Street. The couple was in their late 80s. Dr. Reeve's wife was blind and ill at the time of the flooding. So I will summarize his account of the flood. On Wednesday the 26th, Dr. Reeve says there was water poured down Wilkinson Street and a river ran down 3rd Street. A piano and debris had landed in his yard. The water downstairs was up to his armpits. He had safely gotten his wife to the upstairs bedroom. They were nearly out of food, but neighbors next door stood on the roof and could reach eggs and coffee to them. The only thing they had was natural gas, so he was able to boil some eggs upstairs. Water was reaching above mantel places. The crashing of furnace pipes and banging of furniture kept them awake. He witnessed horses being swept down 3rd Street. Water reached electric light globes. They collected rainwater in a tea kettle to drink. Men in boats passed by. Dr. Reeve witnesses large flames of a fire that broke out nearby. On Thursday, the natural gas had burned out. Dr. Reeve woke up to see another large fire even closer this time. Then it starts to snow. His throat is too dry to eat, and his wife can keep nothing down. They were offered twice to be brought to a safe location, but Dr. Reeve's wife refused. Friday, the 3rd of April, streets and sidewalks seem to be clear. His wife is able to keep down broth from the neighbor. Dr. Reeve feels tired and weak, and he keeps falling. Saturday, the pair are taken to a safe location. They had to be lifted into the wagon. There was no traveling without a pass, as martial law had been declared. 1 month later, his wife died, due in part to the deprivations during the flood. Now I will show you a video my husband and I took downtown that shows where the water level was during the flood. You can compare it with the parking garage it was recorded in front of. I also have a photo of my husband standing next to it. He is 6'4" in height. The area where we took the photo is one of the worst flooded areas, near Main Street in Ludlow. It wouldn't seem that high now when it was 20-foot water levels then. It maybe seems like 10 feet now, but the city and roads have been built up since then. So it would be really impossible to know the exact water level at this location, other than it looks like it's about 10 feet at this point. But even at 10 feet, that's hard to imagine. If you're interested in learning more, you can find many photos and personal stories online about the flood of 1913 and learn about some of the other places that were impacted as well. But I just wanted to do a quick little story about it. And it's always been interesting to me because I live in the Dayton area. So I thought maybe some of y'all would enjoy this. But that's it for today. Thanks.